afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. Welcome once again to today's lesson with me, Mrs. Annie Kantoma. For any question, you can contact me on 0970-703139. Today, class, we are going to look at verb and tense. And under this, we are going to look at may, might, and must. Okay, before I go to today's lesson, let us first revise on the previous lesson that we had. Okay, last time in English, you looked at verb and tense, and you looked at do, does, and did. Do, does, and did. And I said a verb is a word used to describe an action. I said a verb is a word used to describe an action. And I said a tense is a form of a verb which describes what time the action was done. Okay, and I said we use the word do to talk about actions. I said we use the word do to talk about actions. And I said do is used with pronouns such as I, we, you, we see plural nouns. And we know that a noun is a naming word. And I gave you some of the examples. The example that I gave you was, I always do my homework after dinner. We also looked at how to use the word does. How to use the word does. And I said does uses a pronoun such as he, she, and it. And this one uses with the singular noun, which means just one thing. We also looked at how to use the word did, and they said the simple past form of do is did. The simple past form of do is did, and I gave you some of the examples on how to use the word did. For example, I did my homework but forgot to take it to school. Boys and girls, I also gave you homework, which I said you're supposed to complete the sentences with do, does, or did. And the first question was, I always dash my homework in my room. I always dash my homework in my room, and I hope you did this. Okay, so the first answer was do. I always do my homework in my room. Number 2, the question was, Mom and Dad usually dash the laundry together. Mom and Dad usually dash the laundry together. And the answer was does. Mom and Dad usually does the laundry together. And number 3 was, you dash the same math problems last week. You dash the same math problems last week. And the answer was did. You did the same math problems last week. Number 4 was, we always dash our shopping at the farm's market. And the answer was, we always do our shopping at the farmer's market. Okay. Today, boys and girls, we're still looking at verb and tense. Verb and tense. And today we're going to look at may, might, and must. May, must, and may, must, might, and must. Okay, if you've got any question, boys and girls, you can SMS me on this line 0970 703139. Okay, so may, might, and must. We will look at how to use the word may, how to use the word might, and how to use the word must. If I may ask a question, how do we use may? How do we use may? How do we use may? Okay, so boys and girls, we use may to ask if you're allowed to do something. We use may if you ask you're allowed to do something and to tell someone that you are allowed to do something. So I've said use may to ask if you're allowed to do something. We use may if you ask if you're allowed to do something and to tell someone that he or she is allowed to do a certain thing. So we use the word may. So I've said use may to ask if you are allowed to do use may to ask if you are allowed to do something. So you ask if you are allowed to do something, use the word may. And to tell someone that they are allowed to okay, so boys and girls have said use may to ask if you are allowed to do something and to tell someone that they are allowed to do something. So if you ask you are allowed to do something, we use the word may. Or if you are telling someone that they are allowed to do something, we use the word may. Let me give you some of the examples on how to use the may. Examples on how to use the may. For example, may I borrow your pen? May I borrow your pen? Remember, you're saying use may to ask if you are allowed to do something and to tell someone that you are allowed to do something. So, the first example on the board, boys and girls, says, may I borrow your pen? You're asking, may I borrow your pen? Second example that I can give you is, please may I see your ticket? Please may I see your ticket? I want you to give me the other example on how to use the word may. I've given you two examples on the board. The first one is, may I borrow your pen? Number 2 reads, please may I see your ticket? Remember, use may to ask if you are allowed to do something. May I borrow your pen? Please may I see your ticket? So boys and girls, can you give me the third example on how to use the word may? Okay, let us go to another verb, which is must. How do you use the word must? How do you use the word must? Must. So we use must to talk about things that have to do. We use must to talk about things that you have to do. We use must to talk about the things that you have to do. So I've said you use must to talk about things that you have to do. Say use must to talk about things you have to do. So boys and girls, I'm saying use must to talk about things you have to do. So we use must if you're talking about the things that you have to do. We use the word must to talk about the things that you have to do. Boys and girls, if you've got any question, you can SMS me on this line 0970703139. Remember, I'm still waiting for the third example here on how to use the word may. So I'm saying we use must to talk about the things that you have to do. The thing that you're supposed to do, use the word must. Talk about the things you have to do. Let me give you examples on how to use the word must. Examples on how to use the word must. For example, example number 1, I must Okay, let us look at the first example there on how to use the word must. I must mail this letter today. Remember, must to talk about the things you have to do. Must to talk about the thing that you have to do. So say, I must mail this letter today, meaning he or she must mail the letter today. Since you're talking about the thing that you have to do, use the word must. I must mail this letter today. So start thinking of a sentence on how to use the word must. Example number 2 on how to use the word must is children must Children must go to play. Children must go to play with balls. Children must go to play with balls, meaning these children must go with a ball to go and play. Children must go to play with balls. Remember, boys and girls, I said must is used to talk about the things that you have to do. So the first example that I gave you was, I must mail this letter today. Second example is, children must go to play with balls. Third example on how to use the word must is, go to bed now. Go to bed now. Or must I? Go to bed now, or must I? So remember, use must to talk about the things that you have to do. I must mail this letter today. Example 2 read, children must go to play with balls. Third example must is, go to bed now, or must I? Fourth example on how to use it, must. Remember, boys and girls, you should also find a sentence where you can use must, and you should SMS me on this line 0970703139. I want to see if you are been following. So the fourth example, why must I do my Why must I do my homework tonight? Why must I do my homework tonight? So I've given you 4 examples on how to use the word must. I must mail this letter today. Children must go to play with balls. Go to bed now, or must I? Why must I do my homework today? Remember, must to talk about the thing that you have to do. So I need the 5th sentence on how to use it, must. Even this one, I need the 3rd one on how to use the word may, because I've said you use may if you are allowed to do something and to tell someone that they are allowed to do something. Boys and girls, if you've got any question, you can SMS me on this number 0970703139. Remember, you're looking at verb and tense, may, might, and must. May, might, and must. And I've looked at how to use may and how to use must. I hope you have copied this. Let's also look at how to use the word might. How to use must. How do we use must? How do we use must? How do we use the word might? You have talked about may, must. Now you're looking at the word might. How do you use might? So might is the past tense of may. Might is the past tense of may. So boys and girls, is the past tense of may. So might is in the past tense of may. So how do you use the word might? Since I've said it's in the past tense of the word may. Might, how do you use the word might? Might is used Okay, boys and girls have said might is the past tense of may. Might is the past tense of may. And might is used when there is an even lesser chance of some event. Might is used when there is an even lesser chance of some event. Let me give you examples on how to use it. Might. How to use the word might. For example, okay, there's an example there, boys and girls. We might go to the party later. We might go to the party later. Remember, it's used when there's an even lesser chance of some event. We might go to the party later. They might go or they might not go. We might go to the party later. Even this one, boys and girls, should make a sentence where we use the might. Even here, I'm still waiting for must and may. Remember, with any question, you can SMS me on this line 0970-703-139. English today, we're looking at verb and tense, may, might, and must. And now you're looking at the verb might. And I've said might is the past tense of may, and might is used when there's an even lesser chance of some event. There's an example on the board here. We might go to the party later. Let me give you the second example on how to use the might. What again, boys and girls, have got any question, can SMS me on this line 0970-703933139. Number 2, I Okay, boys and girls, I've got another sentence there on the board. I told them I might go if I felt like it, but wasn't sure. I told them I might go if I felt like it, but wasn't sure. So I've given you 2 examples on how to use the might. I'm waiting for the third one. So you can SMS me using this line 0970703139. Let me just check if someone has given me answer. Okay, we've got, what time do you bring mathematics? Okay. Okay, I've got this one. I must go to church today. Okay, good. Okay, so remember you're looking at verb and tense, may, might, and must. You're now looking at might. We also looked at must, and we said we use must to talk about things you have to do. And I gave you some of the examples there, and I also gave you some of the examples on how to use the word may. I hope you have copied this. Let me check if people have given me answers. Okay, we've got this one. We might need some advice on how to get back on our things. Okay, this is good. Let me just give you homework. I'm still waiting for your answers, boys and girls. Okay, so you complete the sentences using these words: must, might, or may. So the first question is, so number 1, boys and girls, reads, where is Jane? She dash have missed her train. I am afraid. That's question number 1. Question number 2. Okay, boys and girls, number 2, read, she said she dash go for shopping tomorrow. Okay, question 3. Take an umbrella, dash it, dash rain. Number 4, the last question. Okay, boys and girls, I've got 4 questions there. Complete the sentences using must, might, and may. So the first question reads, where is Jane? She dash have missed her train. I am afraid. Number 2 reads, she said she dash go for shopping tomorrow. Number 3 reads, take an umbrella, it dash rain. Number 4, dash I use your pen, I have lost mine. So I've given you 4 questions there where you're supposed to use these 3 words, must, might, and may. You must use these 3 words to complete these sentences. Okay, boys and girls, today we looked at may, might, and must. And I've said we use the word may. We use the word may if you're allowed to do something. And I gave you some of the example. For example, may I use your pen? And we also looked at how to use the word must. How to use the word must. And I said this one, if you talk about the thing that you have to do, talk about the things that you have to do. For example, I must mail this letter today. Talking about the things that you have to do. And the last one that we looked at was might. And I said this one is a past tense of the word may. For example, we might go to the party later. Number 2, I told them I might go if I felt like it, but wasn't sure. Still waiting for your answers, boys and girls. Can SMS me on this line 0970-703139. Let me just check if they are. Okay, it seems I've got a lot of answers here. We might fail again, said Sir. This is good. Where is Jane? She may have missed her train. Okay. I must go to school. Okay. It's good that you are participating. It shows that you have been following what I've been teaching. Okay, I hope you have copied this homework, because the next time that we're going to meet, we'll first discuss the answers to these questions. So you should copy these questions and you must answer. Once again, boys and girls, if you've got any questions, you can SMS me on this line 0970-703-139. Any question, SMS me on 0970-703-139. Okay, if there are no questions, it has been with me, Mrs. Annie Kantoma. Until we meet again, God bless you.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the livestock.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at our geographic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at algebraic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at algebraic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at algebraic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the life.
Look at algebraic expression.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome to grade 6 class. My name is Mr. Darius Daka, taking you through our class today in social studies. Okay, so boys and girls, if you have got any questions, you can SMS me on 0970-703139. You can SMS me on 0970-703139. Okay, so boys and girls, you must also understand that we have got our GMF online class that is running on Facebook. So if you want to be part and parcel of the GMF online class, you can participate by contacting the lines that are scrolling on your screen. So boys and girls, make sure to contact those lines so that you can be part and parcel of the GMF online class. That is Goca, MUBUYU, and Fountain Gate classes. All right, so wherever you are, boys and girls, I hope you have taken your pen and your book so that you can write as I'm explaining today's lesson. Okay, so you must participate. Make sure that you make the class become more interactive by texting the line that I've just given you. Okay, so make sure that you interact so that we can be able to discuss our today's lesson. All right, so boys and girls, today we are looking at how the Lozi tribe used to live. We are looking at how the Lozi tribe used to live. But before we do that, boys and girls, last time I remember we talked about how the Chewa people used to live. So I told you to say the Chewa people used to live in Malawi. Okay, so there were two groups of people. One of them was at Mantimba in Malawi, Malawi, and this was the Piri clan. Okay, so the Piri clan was settled at Mantimba in Malawi, and then the other tribe was called the Banda clan, and the Banda clan settled at Mankamba. Okay, the Banda clan settled at Mankamba. Okay, so both tribes settled in Malawi. So boys and girls, again we said that before the creation of the borders, okay, or before the demarcation of the borders between Zambia and Malawi and Mozambique, the Chewas that we see in Zambia, in Malawi, and in Mozambique, this was one tribe, okay, this was one tribe, but because of the demarcation by the colonialists, so they demarcated the land and hence divided the Chewas who are found in Eastern Province, and the others were found in Malawi, and the others are found in Mozambique. Okay, so boys and girls, last time again we said that these tribes, or the Chewa tribe, is controlled by one paramount chief. Okay, one paramount chief of the Chewas is called Gawaundi. Gawaundi is the paramount chief of the Chewas, and all the Chewas gather together in order to celebrate their ceremony. All right, so boys and girls, if you remember, last time we also said that Chewas believe in God called Chiuta. They believe in God called Chiuta. Okay, and then they believe that Chiuta created, all living things were created by Chiuta at the mountain called Kapirintiwa. Okay, all living things were created by Chiuta at the mountain called Kapirintiwa during a thunderstorm. Okay, so they were created by Chiuta on the mountain called Kapirintiwa during a thunderstorm. All right, so this is what we looked at last time, boys and girls. We also moved on, and then we also talked about the Lubaconde tribe, or how the Lubas used to live in those days. So we say that the Lubas, or the Lubaconde, created what is known as Nsakwa. Okay, so Nsakwa, this was a group, or this was a society which taught young boys about their tradition. And then we also said that the Lubacondes didn't have a centralized society. They didn't have a centralized society, meaning that they moved without a chief or a king. But after independence, they came up with a chief, or they chose a chief who ruled after them. Okay, so this is what we looked at last time, boys and girls. So in our today's lesson, boys and girls, we are looking at how the Lozi tribe used to live. We are looking at how the Lozi tribe used to live. So once again, boys and girls, if you want to be part and parcel of the class, you can participate by SMS, by sending an SMS on 0970-703139. You can send an SMS on 0970-703139, and we'll be able to interact, boys and girls. So if you want to be part and parcel of the GMF online class, you can participate by contacting the lines that are on your screen. Okay, so make sure you contact the lines that are on your screen, and people will be there to help you. All right, so let's get back to our lesson for today, boys and girls. So in our today's lesson, we are looking at how the Lozi people used to live. So boys and girls, you must understand that the Lozi people were led by a female chieftain known as Mwambwa. Okay, they were led by a female chieftain called Mwambwa. Okay, so the Lozi people were led by a female chieftain called Mwambwa. They were led by a female chieftain called Mwambwa. Okay, it is believed that this female chieftain had also a daughter. Okay, it is believed that a female chieftain had a daughter known as Mbuyawa Mwambwa. It is believed that a female chieftain had a daughter known as Mbuyawa Mwambwa. So, boys and girls, you must understand that when the Lozi people moved from Congo DR, they settled on the upper part of Zambezi River. They settled on the upper part of the Zambezi River, that is a western province, which is also known as Baroseland today, which is also known as Baroseland today. Okay, so they were led by a female chieftain called Mwambwa. Okay, so the Lozi or Silozi, okay, the other name for Lozi is Silozi. People consist of more than 46 different ethnic groups and are primarily situated in western Zambia. Okay, so the Lozi or Silozi consists of 46 ethnic groups, okay, and are situated in western Zambia. Okay, so the Lozi or Silozi consists of 46 ethnic groups and are situated in western Zambia. So you find the Lozi people in western Zambia, okay, which is inhabiting the region of Baroseland. Inhabiting the region of Baroseland, meaning that the Lozi or Silozi are found in Baroseland. That's where you find the Lozi people. Okay, so the Lozi people are also known as Malozi, Nyambe, Barotose, Rosi, and Ruse. Okay, so the other name for Lozis, the other names for Lozi they are known as Malozi, Nyambe. Okay, they're called Malozi, Nyambe, Barotose, and Rosie. So the other names for Lozi are Malozi, Nyambe, Barotose, and Rosie. Those are the other names for Rosie people. Okay, so they made a clever use of changing water levels of different soils and grass conditions to develop economy of agriculture. Okay, so they made use of water levels to develop agriculture. Okay. Okay, they made use of water levels in Western Province, that is the Zambezi River, okay, to develop agriculture. So boys and girls, you must understand that the Lozi people who are found in Western Province, most of them, they are involved in agriculture. Why? Because of the fertile soils that are found along the Zambezi River. Okay, so the Zambezi River deposits fertile soils. They deposit fertile soils which help the Lozi people to grow their crops. Okay, so the Lozi were short of labor and raided other tribes for workers. Okay, the Lozi were short of labor and raided other tribes for workers. Okay, so what does it mean, boys and girls, when we say the laws were short of labor and raided other tribes for workers? What it means that because the laws were few at the time, so they had to invade other tribes, or they fought, so that they fought with other tribes in order for them to get other people from other tribes as slaves. Okay, so these slaves were called what? Serfs. Okay, these slaves were called serfs. Okay, what does the word serf mean? This one, the word serf means a kind of slave. Okay, a kind of slave. So they raided other tribes in order for them to get workers, and then these slaves were called serfs, which is a kind of slave. Okay, which is a kind of slave. So boys and girls, once again, if you have got any questions or if you have got any contribution, you can SMS me on 0970-7039-3139. Our GMF online class is running on Facebook, so you don't have to wait until next year or until the coronavirus is over. That's when you can start learning. You can be part and parcel of our GMF online class on Facebook. That is for grade 8, grade 10 and grade 11 classes. So make sure that you participate in these classes. Make sure that you join by contacting the lines that are scrolling on your screen. Okay, so let's go back to our lesson for today, boys and girls. So I said they were led by a female chieftain called Mwambwa. These are the Lozi people who were led by a female chieftain called Mwambwa. Okay, so the Lozi or Silozi consists of 46 ethnic groups. Okay, they consist of 46 ethnic groups and are situated in Western Zambia. They are situated in Western Zambia, inhabiting the region of Baroseland. Okay, inhabiting the region of Baroseland. The other names for Lozi are Malozi, Nyambe, Barotose and Rozi. The other names for Lozi are Malozi, Nyambe, Barotose and Rozi. Okay, they made use of water levels to develop agriculture. So boys and girls, like I said earlier on, the Lozi people are good at farming. Why? Because of the water levels in Western Province, which provide water for their crops. Okay, and then you must also understand that the soils along the Zambezi River are fertile. So because of the fertile soils, they took advantage of those fertile soils in order for them to grow different crops. Okay, the Lozi were short of labor and raided other tribes for workers. Boys and girls, you must understand that when the when the Lozi people reached Western Province, there were few by then. So because there were few, they had to fight other tribes in order for them to get slaves who could help in their farms. Okay, so these slaves were called serfs. The slaves were called serfs. A serf is a kind of slave. A serf is a kind of slave. All right, so let's go to culture. Okay, let's go to culture of the Lozi people. Okay, so when you go to culture, what does it mean? Okay, what they believe in terms of culture. All right, what they believe in terms of culture. So, boys and girls, it is assumed that the Lozi people believe in a god called Nyambe. Okay, they believe in a god called Nyambe, who is the creator of all living things. They believe in a god called Nyambe, who is the creator of all living things. And this, they believe to say Nyambe is an almighty God. He is all powerful and he's a kind God. So they believe in God called Nyambe. They believe in God called Nyambe. Okay? So the Lozis believe in a God called Nyambe, who is all powerful. Okay? Who is seen as a creator. Who is seen as a creator. Okay? As a creator, the merciful, the almighty, and giver of all things. Okay, so they believe in God called Nyambe, who is seen as a creator, the merciful, the almighty, and giver of all things. Okay, so they believe in God called Nyambe, who is seen as a creator, the merciful, the almighty, and giver of all things. Okay, so Lozi people or Lozi culture is strongly influenced by the flood cycle of the Zambezi River, with annual migrations taking place from the floodplain to higher ground at the start of the wet season. Okay, so the Lozi people move from the lower land to the higher land at the start of the wet season. So, boys and girls, the Lozi people move from the lower land to the higher land at the start of the wet season. Why do the Lozi people move from the lower land to the higher land at the start of the wet season? They move because during a wet season or during rain season, the lower land gets flooded. Okay, the lower land gets flooded, and because of that, they have to move to the higher land. Okay, they have to move to the higher land. Okay, so they move from Lealui to Limulunga. Okay, they moved from Lealui to Limulunga in a boat called Nalikwanda. Okay, they moved from Lealui to Limulunga in a boat called Nalikwanda. So Lealui is found at the lower land, while Limulunga is on the higher land. So they have to move from Lealui to Limulunga in a boat called Nalikwanda. So boys and girls, you must understand that a Nalikwanda boat, in case you've watched the Komboka ceremony, okay, on TV, the Nalikwanda boat has got black and white stripes, or with an elephant on top. So the Litunga uses the Nalikwanda boat to move from the lower land to the higher land, okay, and this ceremony is called Komboka. This ceremony is called Komboka. Okay, the ceremony is called Komboka. So the movement of the Lozi people from the lower land to the higher land, that is from Lealui to Limulunga, in a boat called Nalikwanda. The ceremony is called Komboka. Okay, so the ceremony is called Komboka. So this takes place in February or March. This takes place in February or March. Okay, so boys and girls, you must understand that between February and March, this is the time when the Zambezi River is flooded, and that's the time when the Lozi people move from the lower land to the higher land in a boat called Nalikwanda, okay, and the ceremony is called Komboka. The ceremony is called Komboka. So boys and girls, if you have got any SMSs, okay, if you want us to interact, you can SMS me using this number 0970 70 3139, 0970 70 3139. And then you must also understand that the GMF online classes are on Facebook, so you must join. That is for grade 8, grade 10 and grade 11 classes. So you can contact the lines that are on your screen, and people will be there to help you. All right, so let's move on, boys and girls. Let's look at their political structure. How is the political structure for the Lozi people? Or how was the political structure for the Lozi people? All right, so the political organization of the Lozi has long centered on a monarchy. Okay, so the political structure, of the Lozi was centered on a monarchy. Boys and girls, what do you understand by the word monarchy? What do you understand by the word monarchy? You can text me using the line that I've given you. Just explain for me the word monarchy. Okay, 0970 70 3139. Okay, what does the word monarchy mean? All right, so the political structure of the Lozi was centered on a monarchy. It was centered on a monarchy whose reigning head, the paramount king, is known as the Litunga. Okay? Whose reigning head, the paramount king, is known as the Litunga. All right. So the paramount king is known as the Litunga. And what does the word Litunga means? Litunga means keeper of the earth. Litunga means keeper of the earth. Okay? Which means keeper of the earth. Okay? So Litunga means keeper of the earth. All right, so this is how their political structure was organized. It is centered on a monarchy. Okay, it is centered on a monarchy whose reigning head, the paramount king, is known as the Litunga. So you must understand, boys and girls, that the paramount chief of the Lozi people is called the Litunga. The paramount chief of the Lozi people is called the Litunga. And the Litunga means keeper of the earth. Litunga means keeper of the earth. All right, so that's it about the Lozi people, boys and girls. But let's just go through what we have learned about the Lozi people before we go to another topic for today. All right, so boys and girls, we have learned that the Lozi people were led by a female chieftain called Mwambwa. Okay, they were led by a female chieftain called Mwambwa. And then you must also understand that this female chieftain had a daughter known as Mbuyawa Mwambwa. She had a daughter known as Mbuyawa Mwambwa. So the Lozi or Silozi consists of 46 ethnic groups. It consists of 46 ethnic groups and are situated in western Zambia. They are situated in western Zambia, inhabiting the region of the Barose land. So where the Lozi people are found, boys and girls, that region is called Barose land. The region is called Barose land. The other names for Lozi are Malozi, Nyambe, Barotose, and Rozi. The other name for Lozi are Malozi, Nyambe, Barotose, and Rozi. Okay, so they made use of water levels to develop agriculture. They made use of water levels to develop agriculture. The Lozi were short of labor and raided other tribes for workers. The Lozi were short of labor and raided other tribes for workers. These slaves were called serfs. So the slaves who the Lozi people got from other tribes were called serfs. And the word serf means a kind of slave. The word serf means a kind of slave. Okay, so let's look at their culture, boys and girls. So we said they believe in God called Nyambe. They believe in God called Nyambe, who is seen as a creator. Okay, they believe in God called Nyambe, who is seen as a creator, the merciful, the almighty, and giver of all things. They believe in God called Nyambe, who is seen as a creator, the merciful, the almighty, and giver of all things. The Lozi people moved from lower land to higher land at the start of the wet season. So boys and girls, you must understand that the reason why the Lozis moved from the lower land to the higher land is because of the rainy season. Okay, it usually gets flooded at the lower land, so they have to move at the higher land at the start of the wet season. Okay, so this movement, okay, it's a ceremony which is called komboka. Okay, it's a ceremony which is called komboka. So the Lozis move from Lealui to Limulunga in a boat called Nalikwanda. They move from Lealui to Limulunga in a boat called Nalikwanda. Okay, so this movement takes place in February or March. It takes place in February or March. Okay, so let's look at their political structure. I said the political structure of the Lozi was centered on a monarchy, and I've given you a task to answer this word monarchy. I said, what does the word monarchy means? So you have to explain to me as to what the word monarchy means. Okay, whose reigning head, the paramount king, is known as the Litunga. So I said the paramount king, boys and girls, of the Lozi people is called the Litunga. The word Litunga means the keeper of the earth. The word Litunga means the keeper of the earth. All right, so that's it, boys and girls, about the Lozi people. So let me check if at all someone has given us the answer for the question that I've just asked. Okay, this one says, Nyambe was their male god, while Nasilele was Nyambe's wife. All right. Okay, thank you so much for this contribution. You are saying Nyambe was their male god, while Nasilele was Nyambe's wife. And then you are saying Komboka takes place between February and April each year. All right, you are saying Komboka takes place between February and April each year, so it must be between, because I've said it takes place between February and March, so, all right, between those periods, it's fine, all right. Okay, that's all for the SMSs that we have. All right, so boys and girls, let's move to another topic for today. We move to another topic for today. I hope you were copying as I was explaining. All right, it's important to take down the notes. It's important for you to take down the notes. All right, because this is how you learn. All right, a good student always writes down what the teacher is explaining. A good student writes down what the teacher is explaining so that you don't forget. Okay, so that you don't forget. If you have got any questions, boys and girls, you can SMS me on 0970-703139. 0970-703139. And then you must also understand that our GMF online classes are on Facebook. So if you want to be part and parcel of those classes, you can participate by contacting the lines on the screen. All right, so boys and girls, I don't have enough time for today, but I'll leave you with homework, okay, which you come and revise in our next class. Okay, all right, so this is our homework for today. You can copy the questions in your book. All right, so number 1 says, who was the female leader of the Lozi people? Of the Lozi people. Who was the female leader of the Lozi people? Okay. The Lozi god. The Lozi god is called Dash. The lousy god is called Dash. Number 3. The lousy people are called Dash, Dash, or Dash. Okay. Number 4. The most important festival of the lousy is called Dash. The most important festival of the lousy is called Dash. Number 5. The lousy paramount chief is called Dash. Right, so boys and girls, I'll move away just for 30 seconds or 40 seconds for you to copy. All right, I'll move away just for you to copy. All right, boys and girls, I believe you're done copying. So I've got an SMS here which reads, does Mwambwa has a husband? Does Mwambwa has a husband? So boys and girls, according to history, we are just told that the losses were led by a female leader called Mwambwa, but it is not yet known as to whether this female leader had a husband or not. It is not known as to whether this female leader had a husband or not. All right, so boys and girls, this has been an exciting class for me. I don't know about you, but I believe you've enjoyed today's lesson. My name is Mr. Darius Daka. Until we meet tomorrow for another exciting class, it's goodbye and God bless you.